If you threaten America, you will find no safe haven.
Well, on the eve of the 13th anniversary of the worst terrorist attack ever on American soil, the President of the United States vows to hunt down terrorists who threaten our country, whoever they are and wherever they are. Good morning to you and welcome to KRQE News this morning. I'm Matt Morrow. It is Thursday, September 11th. Elizabeth Alvarez has today off. We'll talk about what the president had to say about ISIS last night and so much more, including the 13th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. That's all coming up in just a minute. But first, let's start with a quick check of your forecast and meteorologist Cassandra Kermey. Good morning, Cassandra.
Hey, good morning, Matt. We are tracking still a few scattered showers. This is leftover from the front that started to move through yesterday down towards Roswell, really on the north side of Roswell, also near Carrizozo, near Tatum, near Causey as well this morning. But as we take you through the day, most of us are going to see the dry and comfortable skies. Here's your planner for the day. 66 degrees at 9 o'clock, 78 degrees at noon, and 84 degrees by 5 with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But I am tracking another front, a stronger front that's going to bring us some cooler temperatures. I'll have details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, all across America today, people will pause to honor the thousands of lives lost on this date 13 years ago in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At the same time, the U.S. is trying now to get international support to defeat the latest terror group to take the world stage, ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
We will degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL through a comprehensive and sustained counterterrorism strategy.
In a 14-minute address to the nation last night, a weary-looking President Obama made it clear his plan does not commit U.S. troops to another ground war in Iraq. He says America will use other resources to fight ISIS, expanding airstrikes even into Syria, supporting local forces on the ground, increasing humanitarian aid, and working with allies to prevent another attack. Congress will now decide whether to approve the president's request for $500 million to train and equip moderate Syrian rebels.
I think that this should have been done, obviously, much more aggressively from the beginning.
The full House and Senate will get private intelligence briefings today. CIA Director John Brennan tells CBS News the U.S. would crush ISIS leaders, calling them evil incarnate. Secretary of State John Kerry remains in the Middle East this morning, trying to deliver on the president's promise of a broad international coalition. President Obama is sending 475 additional U.S. troops to Iraq to support government forces. That brings the total number of American troops there to about 1,600. Coming up on 5:03 back here in Albuquerque, the fight about whether the county voters can weigh in on reducing pot penalties in November could be headed to court now. The Bernalillo and Santa Fe County Commissions want to put a poll question on the ballot asking if voters want to decriminalize the possession of small amounts of marijuana, an ounce or less. That question would not have any legal effect or change any rules. On Wednesday, Secretary of State Diana Dodon ruled that counties could not do this, saying in a letter, quote, questions that serve merely as poll questions or advisory questions are not authorized by the Constitution or by statute. Bernalillo County Commissioner Debbie O'Malley says the Secretary of State is simply wrong, and she will push the county to fight Ms. Dodon in court.
I think it's very important that we uphold our authority.
The decision on this fight could come as soon as Monday. Commissioners are set to meet to decide how to move forward very soon. Well, 5:03, emotions ran high as veterans here in New Mexico voiced their concerns about the Veterans Affairs Department and the healthcare system.
How dare you people do that to me? How dare you? And you looked away. You knew this was happening. Now how are you going to build my trust? I've lost my medical care because of this, because I can't trust them people.
Which was successful. We're looking at a plan to
Pretty powerful statement right there. The Veterans Administration held 2 town hall meetings yesterday to talk about the now very public problems within the VA, including the long wait times, some of which may have caused some veterans to die. Veterans were encouraged to come out and ask questions, and while many did vent, some posed solutions to help the office serve patients.
Something needs to be done to improve the communications if you want to build trust with us veterans. To be sent to a little closet way off in the corner is very discouraging.
The department is working to make changes, including allowing veterans to seek health care somewhere else if the wait times at VA clinics and hospitals are too long. There's also a push to open more clinics, but it could be years before those are built. A repeat car thief took a ride to jail after swiping an APD bait truck not once, but twice. Oh, he turned it up all right. Video shows Donnie Brown hopping into a truck. Police say he stole near San Mateo and Central yesterday morning. Within seconds, APD was hot on his trail. Police at one point say Brown stopped, started running away, got out of the truck, then he got back in it. That's when police cut the ignition with a remote and arrested him. APD says Brown has been arrested more than 50 times since 1995. Well, police in Espanola say someone broke into an old church chapel and made off with loads of religious items. The Catholic group Las Carmelitas discovered the break-in last weekend. Someone busted through a window and stole from the small chapel in Santa Cruz near Espanola. Statues of the Virgin Mary used in prayer processions were stolen, along with pictures from the wall and religious relics from the altar. Much of this stuff is very old. Some of it is donated, and church members are now hoping that all of it gets returned.
It's very meaningful. They're priceless items. They cannot be replaced.
Fortunately, they're very religious articles like this are very well known, especially in a strong Catholic community like we have. So people are going to recognize them.
Espanola police say they do have a person of interest in the case, but have not arrested anyone just yet. Well, New Mexico joins the nation in pausing to remember a day that changed our world forever. 13 years ago this morning, over the course of 90 minutes, Americans watched in abject horror as 4 planes commandeered by terrorists killed nearly 3,000 people, destroying a nation's sense of security. The first 2 planes hit the World Trade Center just 17 minutes apart. Then one slammed into the Pentagon 40 minutes later, and the 4th hijacked plane crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after brave passengers stormed the cockpit, sacrificing themselves rather than have that plane hit its intended target, the White House. September 11, 2001 will be commemorated in many ways in New Mexico and all around the nation today. We'll fill you in on some of them as we go through the morning. Also, by executive order of the governor, all flags here in New Mexico will fly at half-staff from sunup to sundown. And new for you this morning, take a look at this. It's very interesting. 67%, or 2 out of 3 American adults, think it is somewhat likely another 9/11 type attack will take place in the next 10 years. That is up 30% from last year. This is all from the latest Rasmussen survey of 1,000 people. 34% thought another attack was very likely, 20% thought it unlikely, and 3% don't think it will happen, with 13% undecided. Well, in New York City this morning, take a live look here. Thousands of people are gathering at One World Trade Center to recognize a moment of silence at the time each plane hit. The names of those who died here on 9/11 will be read aloud. Bagpipers and drummers will play. And at the Pentagon, President Obama, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel, and the Joint Chiefs will participate in another ceremony commemorating one of the darkest days in the history of the United States.